All right, Bears fans, welcome back, Bear Down, and welcome to your new week, the first week after the guard has changed in Chicago. The changing of the guard. We have a new leader. As of April 25th, there will be a new quarterback under center. Done deal. Justin Fields has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a sixth rounder, conditional to a fourth if he plays 51% of his snaps for the season. So here's a look at the breakdown. If you just do a Google search, you're going to see this. And I want to point this out to everyone. It's the big news that came out. Right up the bottom, per E.A. Rappaport, Justin Fields' trade was guided by Ryan Poles in discussions with Justin Fields in his camp to take him where he wanted to go. Now, what I'm going to say now is rumor from what I've been researching, but it sounds like there may have been offers from Seattle and from Denver and from Philadelphia, and one of them as high as a day 2 pick for a third or a second rounder. But Ryan Poles allowed Justin Fields to choose where he wanted to go. He wanted to go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh ended up only being willing to offer a sixth conditional to a fourth. So Ryan Poles did right by Justin Fields. I'm going to say that right now. Him allowing Justin Fields to go somewhere where he was allowed the opportunity to win the starting job is doing right by him. Now, Russell Wilson's already been confirmed that he'll be the starter for the season, but Justin Fields will have an opportunity to win that job. If Russell Wilson gets injured or has any kind of hiccups, there will be a short leash because he is on a one-year deal. And this is an opportunity for Justin to win that starting job. So on the top right there, you see Russell Wilson tweeting out, "Let's get it, Justin Fields, quarterback room about to be lit." And then at the bottom right, you see, so right below the picture is the dead contract for the Bears. You can see that's gone. So the cap hit is 2.7. It's already been paid to him, so that doesn't matter. But the blue highlighted area there at the bottom, you'll see this is the Steelers contract. They've taken over that $3 million. So our salary cap increased by about $3 million. We do have a small wiggle room. That puts us at about $9 million. And if we cut Borum and possibly replace Homer, we're a little over 10. We could sign a $3 million, $4 million player, or Poles can just ride this into the season where he's at now. But the topic today, all right, guys, we're getting controversial right off the bat. You guys know me. I just want to be controversial. That's all I want to do. No, that's not it at all. I like to think outside the box. I like to think about things that help us lead to where this team could go, what it could do. I like to pretend I'm GM. So yeah, I do 5 billion mock draft simulators. Yeah, I do 5 billion scenarios with salary cap, and I look at the back of trading cards. When I was a kid, 7 years old, 8 years old, I was already studying the stats on the back. My mom would make fun of me for it. I was always an analytical math type of guy, and that's just who I am. And so when I think about these things, I don't have any beef against Caleb Williams. I'm going to say that right now. I have zero beef against him. I don't like some of his style. I don't like some of the things he does. But I don't give a flip if he wins us 3 Lombardi trophies. I don't. I really don't. But I do want to analyze different things. And I wasn't impressed with the fact that he had a losing record. Now, albeit I do recognize the defense on USC gave up a lot of yards. But he still didn't win the games. So if we're going to compare apples and oranges with Justin Fields and say, well, Justin Fields did ABC, Caleb Williams had ABC, and he had a bad line, and Justin Fields had a bad line, and the defense and this and that, well, there's so many excuses, and I agree. Caleb Williams does a good job, but he also fumbled a ton and blah, blah, blah. I don't have any hatred towards Caleb Williams. Get that out of your heads. That's not true. But is he the best prospect in this draft? And I remember listening to ESPN the other day, and I don't remember who it was off the top of my head. You guys will know what I'm talking about, though. They said if Ryan Poles passed on 3 Heisman Trophy winners in 2 years and stuck with Justin Fields, it would be the gutsiest, ballsiest thing anybody would ever do, and they can't see it happening. Well, they were right. He passed up on Bryce Young. Well, and right here on the bookends here, you can see Caleb Williams and Jaydendaniels, 2 Heisman Trophy winners. The last 2 from 2023, Jaydendaniels, 2022, Caleb Williams. Well, how do they all compare? Well, I did a video yesterday. You guys probably saw that one. If you haven't, go check it out. It just kind of compares the analytics of some of these things of these guys from draft buffs, from PFF, from rankings, from scouts analysis, and kind of orders them, Caleb Williams didn't grade out the highest. It was actually Jaydendaniels. So I wanted to just give a breakdown on these three today and look at a path of what might be the best path for Chicago along the same narrative, suggestion, hypothetical. Yes, this is not rumor, or this is rumor. This is not Adam breaking news. Guys, I don't know everything. I don't know anything. I'm just taking hypotheticals, going through how I view things and sharing it with you guys. And hopefully you get entertainment out of it, and hopefully it makes you think and get ideas. Because right now, Caleb Williams has been pushed as generational. And I've said this from day one, and I don't back down from it. Caleb Williams is a JV Justin Fields to me. Now, he might get into the league and ascend that JV level and become varsity very quick and surpass Justin Fields, and I would be happier than I could ever imagine. I would be so happy us raising the Lombardi and having parades and freaking being champions again. Bring me back to 2016 when the Cubs won the World Series. Bring me back. I want more. I want more. I'm greedy. I want to be a Chiefs fan right now. Not a Chiefs fan, but in their shoes. I want to be in their shoes celebrating all of these Super Bowls. I want that. We all want that. So let's look at these guys. Here's Caleb Williams. Here's his draft buzz information on the bottom left. Here's his PFF stats over the last 3 years. So there's his dropbacks, his attempts, his completion percentage, his yards per attempt, touchdowns, interceptions, his offensive rating overall by PFF, his passer rating, and his run rating. All right, so solid. 82 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 9,000 yards. Solid. Constantly above 90. Those are blues. That's as high as you can get for PFF. When you're in the blue, you are elite. You are elite caliber. All right, let's look at Mr. Drakemaye. Now, he's come on strong the last couple of years, and you can see that. So, last 3 years, all listed right there. He was really the starter from 22 to 23. So that green, don't even pay attention to that because he had 10 dropbacks, 9 attempts. It doesn't mean anything. There was nothing to that freshman year. These last 2 years have been when he's been the starter and he's excelled as a starter. There's a lot to like about Drakemaye. I know Bears fans are worried because there's a lot of correlation to Mitch Trubisky, but he's got a good size, 6'4", 223. He's an NFL-sized quarterback, and for his size, he's a 4'6", 40. He's still pretty quick and elusive. All right, so here's Drakemaye. We already did all this other stuff on him the other day and broke those down. We're not going to do that again. And then here is Jaydendaniels. All right, 5 years. He was at Arizona State and transferred to LSU, and this last year was a very, very special season. 94.7 overall grade, 92 pass, 92.4 rush. Extremely special, and he was over 1,000 yards rushing on top of 3,800 yards passing. So very, very special season for Jaydendaniels. It's the reason he won the Heisman. All right. Here's all three of them stacked up side by side. So is it consistency of Caleb Williams? Well, one of the biggest knocks on him is he isn't consistent in his play, and he relies too much on hero ball. All things that can be fixed at the NFL level. Absolutely. Is it Drakemaye? And at the bottom, is it Jaydendaniels? I don't know. They all have perks. They all have different things about them. They all have some positives. One of the biggest things when you look on Draft Buzz, both Caleb Williams and Jaydendaniels are compared as one of their comps to Justin Fields. That made me laugh when I saw it. Caleb Williams also has the comparison to Pat Mahomes, as many of you know, and I am reluctant to see that. I just don't want to. It's not that I want to bash Caleb Williams. I don't want to compare anybody to one of the greatest in the game until they get into the league. If he gets to the NFL and he has a rookie season that's just phenomenal, and then we can make comparisons to Pat Mahomes, and he takes us to the playoffs and does some amazing things in the playoffs, I have no problem comparing him then. But even then, you got to win some before you get compared to one of the greats. Jaydendaniels, another one of his comps is Lamar Jackson, and we know where that path kind of takes us. But his big knock is he's a little slower on his zip of his ball. His velocity is a little lower, and his body isn't quite NFL sized. He needs to bulk up a little bit. So there's strength and conditioning coaches for exactly that. If he's got a mentality, a mindset of a champion, he'll get to the NFL and put the freaking work in and build that body. He's only 23 years old, so he has an opportunity to do that still. Caleb Williams' big knock is that he plays outside of discipline, that he plays a little bit too much hero ball, that he doesn't take the easy checkdowns, and he tries to go for the big plays all the time, leading to a lot of turnovers, primarily when he holds the ball loose from his body. Drakemaye, I'm not going to focus on him in this one because I don't see him as really the option, and maybe that's my recency bias with Mitch Trubisky coming from North Carolina. I get they're two totally different quarterbacks, but Drakemaye just isn't blowing my socks off. And this is part of why when you hear things, same with Caleb Williams, guys, when you hear things, it does permeate into your mind and it makes you think. And that's what this whole video is about. So I remember Jaydendaniels during the season having this game against Florida that just blew everything away. So maybe it was last year. I'm not positive on that. It might have been last year. I think it was this year. Either way, he had 5 total touchdowns, 606 yards, blew them away. And then you start seeing a couple weeks ago, people start saying, well, Jaydendaniels should be the number one. And Dan Orlovsky was kind of the leader of that. You see right in the middle there, NFL Draft, why ESPN's Dan Orlovsky ranks Jaydendaniels over Caleb Williams. Now, I think he's flip-flopped back, and it's kind of career suicide right now if you don't support Caleb Williams. In fact, if any of you are on Twitter and you've seen me, like they're all like just bashing like crazy, saying, anyways, that doesn't matter, but this isn't my career, so I can say whatever the F I want, to be honest. Like, it doesn't matter to me because I'm going to say how I feel and I think, and that's the basis of this channel, is to do analytics, to give outside-the-box thinking, and that's what I want to do. But he wasn't the only one. You see Williams Drakemaye dry off the draft board. Former number 1 pick reveals best fit for Bears, and it isn't Caleb Williams. It was Jaydendaniels. I mean, you can Google this stuff. There's a lot of support for Jaydendaniels. Well, for good reason. He won the Heisman this last year, guys. He had a stellar season. And on top of that, he played a pro-style offense at LSU, and he played the most elite competition in the SEC. So when you're talking about those things, he excelled at the highest level. Caleb Williams struggled against teams like Nevada and teams that were lesser competition, and, well, he beat Nevada, but he had some struggles in that game. But then when he did play elite competition, like if he was in the SEC, how would his season have gone? Questions I have. I'm not bashing Caleb Williams. I have to preface that so many times because there's so many people dead set on Caleb Williams. Well, last I recalled, we've decided to trade Justin Fields away, but I don't think the draft has happened and we haven't picked a quarterback yet. So for me to sit here and think, okay, Caleb Williams, I'm okay with it. If we draft him, I will support him. And I've said that on this channel. I've said that on Twitter. I'm saying it everywhere. I am a Bears fan first and foremost. And just like I said with trading down from 1-1 about Caleb Williams, no one player is bigger than the team to me. I mean that, guys. Justin Fields is not bigger than the team to me. I was a huge Justin Fields supporter, huge Justin Fields fan. I had never seen in all of my years of being a Bears fan, and I'm in my 40s, of all my years of being a Bears fan, I'd never seen someone so dynamic. Well, maybe Devin Hester. Watching the Super Bowl in 2007 and watching him take the return, the opening kick to touch, I don't remember ever being so excited as a Bears fan. Like that moment, I really thought we were going to win the Super Bowl, and I was in elation. I was too young to remember the Super Bowl in '85. So this experience in '07, it's a memory I'll have forever, and I'm sure many of you can relate to that, 100%. But I got those same feelings with Justin Fields. When he would break away from a tackle, when he would break 5 tackles and go down for a 70-yard touchdown run, or when he would go cross-body as you're thinking he's just going to run out of bounds, cross-body across the field to hit Cole Kmet in the middle on something you don't think is possible, those same feelings had returned. So I was definitely a Justin Fields fan. But no one player is bigger than the team to me. I'm a Bears fan. And so I've let it go. I hope a lot of you that are having those mixed feelings right now understand it is a business. And DJ Moore said it perfectly. Business is business. And it sucks. And Justin Fields did not get a fair shake. And I truly believe he has potential to beat out Russell Wilson, to win that starting job, to go through this adversity. But I do know one thing. He is the type of character and caliber of guy that can do that, put his head down and go to work and rise from this. And the Steelers always make the playoffs somehow. And if he gets his opportunity there, I would love to see the Bears face the Steelers in the Super Bowl with Justin Fields on the other side. And I would love to beat him, but I would love to see him in the Super Bowl play against us. It would be magical. All right, back to topic here. No one player is bigger than the team. So in that thought process that no one player is bigger than the team, I still believe that. Is there really a player in this draft that would allow us to trade down? We know, and Robert, I want to thank Robert again. It was poor timing because that same day that dropped is when Justin Fields' trade happened, and he had really good thoughts. And that's what I love, is someone that provokes thought and makes you think outside the box and say, what's going on here? Because we don't know. And so this time of year, we're not watching games. We're not analyzing the games. We're analyzing what could be happening and what are we going to do. And the draft is fun because I want to take player A, B, C, and D, and I'm going to drop a split-screen mock draft later tonight of taking Caleb Williams and taking Jaydendaniels and trading down. I'm going to do that tonight. I've already got it almost done. And what I see in it and being fair on both sides. And, guys, we're in good shape. I can tell you that right now. If we take Caleb Williams, we're okay. I mean that. We're okay. It's going to be all right. But if Ryan Poles does these evaluations, and I guarantee he's got an open mind, everything he said leads to that. He has not 100% guaranteed he's going with Caleb Williams now. Now, the fan base will tell you that we're taking Caleb Williams no matter what. It's happening 100%. I don't believe that. I believe it's about 90%, and I've said that, because they've done their analysis and they've done their stuff and they see this special stuff in him. But even I don't really know that. I'm just saying I really think at this point, in Adam's opinion, in the opinion of Adam, we're taking Caleb Williams 90% at this point. But the reality is, maybe Ryan Poles loves Jaydendaniels and what he saw from him in a pro-style offense at LSU, and the way that he was zipping them over the middle and over the top and deep balls, and the way that he escaped pressure and ran for 1,134 yards and 10 scores. Yeah, this definitely was from this year because that was his stats from this year. Maybe he sees that in him and sees, man, he played at the SEC in the highest level of opponents, and he's going to translate to the NFL right off the bat, and I can trade Justin Fields away, and I can run with him on day one, and we'll get strength and conditioning. We'll get him off of that 6'3", 200-pound frame and get him up to 6'3", 220, and make him more adaptable to not get murdered when he's running and scrambling. And I don't know. We don't know what's going through Ryan Poles' head. Anybody can say they do, but they don't. And the talking heads, they got it right with trading Justin Fields. Good for them. That's me clapping. Good for them. They got it right. I was wrong on that one. I really, really wanted to see Justin Fields stay, and I saw the purpose of trading back. And so, Robert, great thoughts. I really think that might still be happening, though. Washington, I believe, has put a package together and offered it to the Bears. Well, what do we still got here? On the 20th, which is 2 days away, we're going to have pro days for Caleb Williams. We're also going to have other pro days. And then a week after that, we're going to have Jaydendaniels pro day. And they're going to be to LSU's pro day either way. So don't analyze that too much, because if they take Caleb 1, I guarantee they're going to be down there looking at Brian Thomas Jr. at LSU's pro day at number 9. And I've done a video on that, and I really believe he's special. He's not, to me, in my order, and this is no knock on Malik Neighbors at all. I just don't think he fits what we need as much, but his route running is so special. I would take him just like you take DJ Moore at 6 foot tall. That's Malik Neighbors. He's the same, but we need an X receiver. So I would take right now Marvin Harrison Jr. 1A and Romo Dunze 1B and Brian Thomas 2. And then Malik Neighbors 3, and then Adonai Mitchell 4. Well, really 5, because I had 1A and 1B, but you guys get what I'm saying. That's my order right now. So Brian Thomas Jr. is a special guy. And if we end up taking Caleb, I can see Brian Thomas being our number 9 selection 100%. All right, so I'm going a lot of free talking right now. I didn't expect to do that, but the point of that is we don't know, and that's this whole video. We don't know right now. And so I'm not telling you guys to be convinced that we're taking Jaydendaniels at 2, and this package has been put together by the Commanders, and they've already got it out there, and they're saying, you know what, this is a fair package. In fact, let me show you kind of what would be fair, and this is fair. I know there's better value we can get from this, and a lot of us have wanted the higher value, but this is a fair value, and I'll show you on the next page why that is. But maybe the Commanders have already put this package together and said, look, if you're willing to come off it, we want Caleb Williams. And Ryan Poles is sitting there. I'm just getting you guys to think. This is the reality of where we are right now. Ryan Poles is sitting there saying, you know what, look, we got the pro day on the 20th. We want to get him into Halas Hall. We want to get drakemaye in. We want to get Jaydendaniels in. We want to go to their pro days. We want to talk to all of them. And then we'll make our decision. And if you want Caleb Williams that bad to 1-1 and you're willing to give up 1-2, 240, 378, 3-100, your comp pick, and a future second, we'll get back to you. And if the way this would happen is if Ryan Poles goes into those pro days and he goes into those visits to Halas Hall and he comes away equally impressed with Caleb Williams and Jaydendaniels and says, look, Jayden had this stellar season. He's a Heisman Trophy winner too. We're not going to be knocked for this. Now, we might be scrutinized because Caleb Williams is the clear-cut number one, and look at how the media just drools over him and they just salivate and he's just Pat Mahomes and he is God. We might be scrutinized, but the reality is Jaydendaniels is a Heisman Trophy winner too. So if we take him at 1-2, he's still safe. Ryan Poles is not going to lose his job in the next 2 years. There will be a learning curve, and a lot of people realize Jaydendaniels needs to put on a little weight, and he needs to work on his zip a little bit, getting the ball not out quickly, but getting it velocity. Two different things. So, that being the case, we can get a haul like this, then here's what we can get in return. Now, I want you to see at the top, if you look at Rich Hill and Jimmy Johnson, a lot of people use the Jimmy Johnson, so I want to show you guys the difference. When you're trading out of number 1 or anywhere in the top 10, Rich Hill, so this is right on Draft Tech. Teams are reported to use a revised trade value model in recent years, as discussed by Bill Belichick. Draft Tech provides an alternative trade value model developed by Rich Hill of Pat's Pulpit, which we believe more accurately reflects the trades of the past several years. So the Rich Hill model is the more accurate one. So all these people are saying, there's no way you can't get that much value out of trading down from 1 to 2. Well, on the Jimmy Johnson model, that's probably what they're looking at. You're overpaying by $1,300 to $1,700. So I see what they're saying, but nobody's looking at the Rich Hill model for some reason. And if you look at the Rich Hill model, it's 1,000 versus 960 for the picks, plus a future seconds, 120. That's 1,080. It's not a huge overpay. It's pretty flat equal. So, no, this is realistic. As much as they tell you it's not realistic, this is realistic. So if you're asking me today, what is Ryan Poles going to do with the first overall pick? I don't know. I'm not in the war room with Ryan Poles, but neither are all these national pundits. Neither are all the people that say they know that we're taking Caleb Williams. Now, what do I think it is right now? Like I've said before, and I haven't changed from that, all the moves that he's made point to it being 90% Caleb Williams. But I'm telling you right now, all these people that are assuming that are overlooking the fact that there's a month till the draft and many things happen between now and the draft. And if we didn't learn anything from last year, things change all the time. It went from Bryce Young to C.J. Stroud to Anthony Richardson. And then Will Levis came out of nowhere with rumors about his family saying he talked to someone. He was going second overall. And I mean, there's so many things that happen between now and then. And none of the main things have happened. These players haven't come into Halas Hall yet. We haven't had the top 30 visits yet. So nobody knows. Absolutely nobody knows what Ryan Poles is going to do. And I don't think Ryan Poles is set yet. But if you don't think Ryan Poles is thinking about this scenario I keep bringing up over and over again, that 1-1, is it worth another quarterback that's at very similar talent level and is graded higher in almost every respect other than velocity of his throw? Is it worth him plus a backup center that would turn into a starter very quickly this season, plus a tight end 3 that could develop over the next couple years, plus a very solid guard that could replace Ja'Tyre Carter and possibly even replace Nate Davis by the end of the season, plus a second rounder next year? And all I did was I went on to Draft Buzz, NFL Draft Buzz, and I picked whoever right in the middle of the second round projection is right now. And it just so happened to be Shiloh Sanders, safety out of Colorado. Everybody knows him because he's Deion Sanders' son. But those 5 guys, you're telling me that Caleb Williams is worth? I don't know. Maybe Caleb Williams is. I don't know. Caleb Williams could be Pat Mahomes. He could also be Ryan Leaf. He could also be Mitch Trubisky. We don't know what Caleb Williams is yet. Number 1 overalls have a better chance than anybody else, but also other quarterbacks come out of nowhere. I had somebody on Twitter today say, do you think the Cincinnati Bengals wish they traded out of Joe Burrow? Well, I don't know. Because if that's your example, Tua Tagovailoa and who's the other? Justin Herbert are both great options. So if they would have got a Hall plus Tua Tagovailoa plus Justin Herbert and 4 other players, I think they very strongly would have considered that, even looking back. Yeah, if Cincinnati could take Justin Herbert plus 4 players that would help transform that team, 2 offensive linemen, a safety, and a tight end, plus a quarterback that's rated very highly, I honestly think they would consider it. So that's what I'm trying to do here is free think this thing, guys. Nobody knows what's going to happen yet, but if you're telling me down the road, you're guaranteeing me that Caleb Williams is going to win us 3 Super Bowls all by himself, great, get her done. Let's sign me up. I want it. I want 3 Super Bowls. Give it to me. I want it. Give it to me now. But if you can't guarantee that, and Jaydendaniels has just as high a prospect of potential, which I get you're going to argue that comment, but right now neither of them have played a snap in the NFL, and Jaydendaniels has taken more of a pro-style offense, and he's played higher-rated defenses, and he's excelled at the college level and won a Heisman just like Caleb did. So do I prefer one of these guys over the other right now? Probably not. In fact, probably Caleb's tape probably has some pretty special things that make you think there is something special in him. But Jayden's does too. So we don't know what's going to happen yet. So don't try to force me into being on the Caleb Williams fan club until April 25th when that draft happens. Yeah, I'm still going to go live, guys. I'm going to go live for the draft. Anybody who wants to join in, happy to have you there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be crazy. There's going to be something big that happens, and we're going to be a fan base that has 2 top 10 or 2 first-round picks and multiple picks. I don't know what's going to happen yet, but it's going to be big. So I'm excited for it 100%. But all right, that's what I got for you guys this morning. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it gets you thinking because there's no guarantee and no set thing. And guys, if you want Caleb Williams, no more power to you. 100%. I am not going to be upset if we have Caleb Williams. The Justin Fields era is over. We're getting a new quarterback. That's done. It's set in stone. We are going to have a new quarterback 1. That's happening. If it's Caleb Williams, I'm happy. I'm saying that right now. I'm happy. I'm going to support him, and I'm going to hope we win Super Bowls. If we trade down and get a Hall, I'm happy. I'm really excited about the prospect of having more of these guys that can fill out this roster. So coming up next, I'm going to do a split screen mock of taking Caleb versus taking Jaydendaniels and being very fair on both of them on filling out the team's needs. And I think tomorrow morning for my Free Talk Tuesday, I'm going to talk about all the positions that we have now and where they grade out and where our weaknesses and our strengths are. And we're stronger than last year. So that's what I got coming up. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you have a great day. Until next time, continue to bear down.